Searching on the internet, there is a lot of discussion that Jesus didn't die and he in fact faked or somehow survived. Ancient historians have proved without doubt that Jesus did exist and that he was crucified. The big question is, could you survive the crucifixion? Okay, let's start in the Garden of Gethsemane. This is where Jesus is praying and coming back to everyone saying, please stay awake. In Luke 22 verse 44, it tells of how stressed he was. It states, and in his anguish, he prayed more earnestly. His sweat became great drops of blood falling down on the ground. This is a very rare condition called Hematohydrosis. This comes from where you are in so much stress that it would literally sweat blood. Leonardo da Vinci described a soldier who sweated blood before battle, and there are cases documented that this happened when under immense stress. So far you would be stressed and have blood over your skin. Yes, that's something you could survive. So could you survive the next torture? It's a specific level of torture. I mean, imagine a whip with a number of leather straps, and at the end of each piece of strap was a bone or a piece of metal. When you are given each blow, it would tear off flesh and expose a bloody mass of bone and tissue. It would have been excruciating. While the Jews only allowed 39 lashes, no more than 40 as was the law, so if you're a bad count, 39 seems safe. Of course, the Romans had no such limits. Many people who received such a beating died as a result. To make matters even worse, soldiers put a purple robe over your back, which would have come in contact with the exposed flesh and blood, which would be painful enough, as well as having a crown of thorns being shoved onto your head. And it only gets worse, because when they take the robe off later on with congealed blood, when they ripped it off, another layer of skin and bone would be taken off. It would be agony. Now, after being flogged and extreme blood loss, you would now have to drag a cross. Now, some scholars have stated that it most likely be the crossbar called the petroleum. However, wooden beam, it's still heavy. You were then going to have to drag this beam a distance of over 200 meters or 650 feet to the side of the crucifixion at Golgotha. I don't know about you, but if I wasn't dead already, I don't think I would even be able to walk. Thankfully, someone offers to help carry the beam for you, and you can finally get to the side of the crucifixion. The next thing would be being nailed to the cross, and if that was not pain enough, once upright, you now have a dilemma. If you relax your body, your lungs can't breathe in air, so you push up with your feet. But this is so painful, you can't even keep it up very long. So you collapse, but then you can't breathe, so you have to push up again. But doing this is too much pain, so you try and relax again. This just keeps on going over and over till you can't do it anymore. Normally, the Romans would just leave people on the cross till they died. But because the next day was a holy day, they needed to be finished sooner than later. Because of this, the Roman guards were ordered to break your legs so that you would die from asphyxiation, no longer able to push yourself up and no longer to breathe. However, when the Roman soldiers look at you, they can tell you're dead. But just to make sure, they put a spear through your side where blood and water come out. John 19:33-34. But coming to Jesus, when they saw that he was already dead, they did not break his legs. But one of those soldiers pierced his side with a spear, and immediately blood and water came out. This condition is called hypovolemic shock, where due to high stress, such as flogging or crucifixion, where high blood loss happens with a heartbeat that just is going so fast for a prolonged period of time due to the heart pumping blood that just isn't there. This causes the fluid to gather around the heart and lungs. When your side is pierced, the spear would have gone through your side, heart, lungs, and releasing blood, but also the water fluid buildup. This now proves to the Romans that you have died. Jesus is dead. This is where people say that when Jesus was taken off the cross and he wasn't really dead. Apart from it being impossible to survive this, it would have been impossible for Jesus to be able to even walk and talk 3 days later. Can these things be faked? Well, the ancient Roman historians Tacitus and Josephus both have documented that Jesus did exist and was crucified. That's without doubt. And along with this, Roman soldiers could not and cannot take anyone off the cross if they had not died. If they had, and there was a chance that Jesus was still alive, they would have been punished, beaten, or killed themselves. Romans were very good at their craft. They had done it with precision for hundreds of years up until this point. Making sure that he was dead with a spear and having water and blood come out confirms that he had died. Of all the other tortures that he endured, there was no chance that Jesus could have survived. Not to mention, you and I would not have hope of surviving either. We wouldn't even get anywhere close to this. But the difference is that on the third day, Jesus rose again because he conquered death itself. Go do something awesome for God, and we'll catch you in the next one. And just as a side note, the reason Leonardo da Vinci was at the battleground, if you didn't already know, was that he did a lot of anatomical studies and drawings. Normally people didn't like their hearts being taken out to have been drawn, so he had to get it from somewhere.